brand Shah Rukh has established itself as something that can beat the odds on a consistent basis, who's much more today than merely an actor.
So he has completely redefined the whole media circus and said, guys, I don't want to do it anymore. I will do one press conference, we'll celebrate the film, ask me questions there, but I'm not going, jumping from one studio to the other. I'm not doing interviews. So he's redefined those rules too. I mean, it's amazing how he's done that because he's just eliminated the media from his life and his ability to talk to fans.
This is Shah Rukh live full on, and I think that is a luxury. The luxury of love, as you can describe it, but it is also the luxury of professionalism, of knowing that you are in peak form.
Alright guys, we are doing something different on Table Talk with Joe this evening. Brand SRK and what lessons we can learn from the reinvention of the superstar. That's what we are going to be chatting about. On the show today is image guru Dilip Cherian and also Samar Khan. He is the CEO of Juggernaut Productions, and I'm looking to ask them both their perspectives. One is the original reporter on the Shah Rukh Khan beat. I
ask you, where is it that you see the superstar at this point? What is this phase? What would you describe his phase as?
I think this is pretty much the best phase of his career because, for him to do the films that he wants to do and for him to get the love that he's getting today at 58 and 59 is pretty much, I think, the zenith of a career because he's got the love of the people for the last 30 years and to have faced the setbacks on a professional level and also on a personal level for the last couple of years. I don't think that you can say anything else but the fact that he is today in the best phase of his career. He has redefined the rules of the box office. He has redefined what success can mean to Bollywood. He has pushed the boundaries of, let's say, the box office collections. And he's pretty much at the best time that an actor can be. It's almost like mirroring Tom Cruise's career. Tom Cruise went through such a low and then he comes back with the Mission Impossible. He comes back with the Top Gun and he is the top dog once again.
I think, Jyotsna, I agree with what Samar has said. The only thing I will, go a little further in saying that brand Shah Rukh has established itself as something that can beat the odds on a consistent basis. So there is no reason at this stage in his career to take refuge in double entendre or to, make a kind of passing references to things. This is Shah Rukh live full on, and I think that is a luxury. The luxury of love, as you can describe it, but it is also the luxury of professionalism, of knowing that you are in peak form. You're able to second guess how the audience is going to feel. And I think that is a huge responsibility for someone who's much more today than merely an actor. He's, in a sense, over the last few years, become a kind of pawn for Bollywood. People have been blaming or trying to put pin blame of everything that may be wrong with Bollywood onto the Shah Rukh factor in many senses. Amitabh is out of that game in many ways. To that extent, this is a repudiation of that aspect, and he's come out loud and clear. No excuses, and definitely no apologies.
There's been a lot of parallels have been drawn with Amitabh Bachchan when he was at the top of his career, the whole Jandeer phase and the angry young man phase. Do you see similarities there?
So I think what Shah Rukh has done with the Jawan and the Pathaan is the fact that he's brought the Hindi film hero back. The Hindi film hero had suddenly forgotten what a Hindi film hero was. We were making films only for the urban audiences. We were only making films for people who live in cities. But जो हमारा Hindi film का hero है, I mean, Shah Rukh has brought him back because our Hindi film hero is wronged by the system. Our Hindi film hero was always somebody who could do superhuman things. Our Hindi film hero always had a mother or a sister or a child that was wronged. And that was the tropes that Mr. Bachchan also followed in all his films. It was either a wronged mother or it was a wronged son. Or if you see Aakhri Rasta, or if you see a Zanjeer, or if you see a Diwar, where he's, even in a Trishul, he's fighting for his mother.
But, Dilip, I get the whole superstardom, but does it take him to a different level altogether? Because, we've spoken a lot about the political environment as well and how tough it is to actually be able to come out and say anything. So, for an actor, we've seen a lot of actors just bowing down and, just going the other way. For him to speak up.
Building on the brand Shah Rukh, and he's building higher. And I think that is the smart thing. Because one thing I'll say about Shah Rukh is that he is constantly segueing from one role to the other. He takes a risk, he establishes a platform, and then he's segueing on. Now, the thing to watch for is after these 3 movies, where is he poised to get next? He's tried a whole lot of AI stuff and CG stuff and all that. But this is what the audience actually wants. They want to see Shah Rukh. They want to see someone fighting the system. And as Samar very rightly said, they do not want to see someone caught up in the inanities and the mundanities of daily life. That is not what they go to watch in a dark hall. And making them get back their tries to watch him is the secret.
So Dilip, just another question, because I'm really interested, in this whole aspect. How do you define a person who transitions from being a personality to a brand? What is that transition process?
It's actually multi-step, and I'm not going to bore the many viewers you have, Jyotsna, by talking about the process of branding, but I'll sum it up in 2 lines. First, you've got to be memorable. Second, you've got to repeat what you're memorable for. And if you can do these things, you've got the core of a brand. Now, what makes you memorable for different actors is different things. So Shah Rukh has found the magic which works for him, and then he knows that in varying proportions, he's got to repeat that. Now, the trick of an evolving brand is different. The trick of an evolving brand is to take only 30% of what you're confident about and add 70% more. It's 60% of what is familiar and only added 40% of what's new. So as I said, the interesting game would be now to watch what his next steps are going to be.
I wish I had an answer, because I don't think anybody can read the man's mind, because he's someone who, has constantly thought at the time. I mean, let's say we are today talking about the rebranding of Shah Rukh Khan. I mean, Shah Rukh Khan came into the industry as a negative boy, and then he did a film like Dilwale, which suddenly became a big hit. I mean, he was the one who made a film like Phir Bhi Dil Hai Hindustani, which was a comment about the media. It didn't work at that point of time, but he took a risk to make that film. He took a risk to make an Ahsoka. He made a Paheli, which for whatever reasons didn't work. He did a Swades, which was a semi-success. He did a Chak De. But, and like Dilip very rightly said, brand Shah Rukh had become so big at that point of time that he himself could not break that brand. He himself was trapped in that brand. So I guess now he's at a stage in his career where, I think knowing him as a smart human being, he would try and make the most of this new phase, which is why, there is a talk of him doing a Tiger versus Pathaan, where he wants to bring himself and Salman back. There is a chat of a Jawan 2, where he wants to bring Vijay from the south. I mean, he's more than an actor. I think Shah Rukh is a businessman. And he will keep this brand Shah Rukh alive, because there is so much feeding off this brand. There is a KKR that feeds off this brand now. He's got his children who are going to come into the industry. So he'll do all he can, I feel, to keep the brand alive as much as he can. And then one day, and that's the way he is, he'll surprise you and me completely by just doing something completely different. and a new brand will be born. So he's someone, because I've been closely associated with. Nobody can read his mind, because he thinks 2 steps ahead. He'll figure out something. But the only thing that I can say for a fact is that he will milk this phase of his career to the best he can, because I mean, knowing what an action hero does and knowing how much an action film takes, he's going to be 59 this year. So I don't think they have more than 4-5 years or 6 years to do this kind of action film. So if this works for him, he'll try and milk this as much as possible. And why not?
Yeah, and someone anyway, he's kind of moved the whole Bollywood on its toes, head, whatever you say, for the simple reason that we've never really seen actors going on to like 59, 60, still being like the prime hero of a movie, have we?
No, we haven't, I think. And he himself has said it in so many interviews. He has said it in documentaries or whatever, that he is the last of the superstars. There is no, and that is, as having been a journalist and having been in the media industry for so long, and I'm sure Dilip would agree with this, that he is pretty much the last of the stars. I don't think anybody is going to see the zenith of stardom that a Shah Rukh Khan has seen. Salman has seen a lot of stardom. Amir has seen a huge amount of stardom, but there is no Shah Rukh Khan. I mean, there is none like him. The adulation, the brand value, the kind of love that he has, the respect that he has, not just here, overseas. So I feel that he's the last of the superstars. I don't think there'll be one more after this for a very long time.
Feeding the eyeballs of an entire nation is a ridiculously high pinnacle to reach. And today, audiences are getting hugely sliced up. Different products, different players appeal to different ends of the spectrum and bits of the spectrum. But Shah Rukh, because of the sheer mental capability, and I think that is what we need to recognize as being part of the brand. The fact that he has the mental agility to play this media game, and we've got to see cinema as a form of media, and he recognizes that cinema is no longer watched only on the big screen. He recognizes that he needs to be multimedia in the way he plays this, and he's done that. He's given interviews such that it appeals in smaller bites. He's given the way the trailers play out. Everything about Shah Rukh recognizes the fact that audiences have changed, the media viewing patterns have changed, and he is probably the first, and maybe, as Samar says, the last to be able to straddle both these worlds and be dominant in a kind of scale which he has. So it's like, you'll have loads of companies coming in and trying to be in the drinks market, but there's only one Coke. So it's a bit like that. There'll be many flavors of Shah Rukh, and there will be many imitators of it, but he will be like a colossus. And probably I on this I will bow to Samar's wisdom. I don't think anyone will be anywhere where he is in the future.
Just look at it just look at how he changed the rules. Pathaan was a film that was coming after 4 years, 5 years. He had not had the release for 5 years. Conventional wisdom would have said, go out and do interviews, talk to people, be all over. He did not speak to a single media person. He did not give one interview. He just spoke to his fans on Twitter. He spoke to his fans on Instagram.
Yeah.
And that was all he did. And everybody thought about it and said, okay, was that a wise move? And look at what the film did. For Jawan, he did not speak to the media. He does not like to. And he's the man who used to go to every TV studio. He's the man who used to do interviews with everybody. He was the man who did, sound bites, and he was everywhere. And suddenly he's nowhere. So he has completely redefined the whole media circles and said, guys, I don't want to do it anymore. I will do one press conference. We'll celebrate the film. Ask me questions there. But I'm not going, jumping from one studio to the other. I'm not doing interviews. If I want to talk to my fans, I'll talk to them on Twitter. I'll talk to them on Instagram. So he's redefined those rules too. I mean, it's amazing how he's done it
Absolutely.
because yeah, he's just eliminated the media from his life and his ability to talk to fans.
When you're speaking of those fans, Summer, how many of those fans or the audience that is coming to the halls, are still those, who are coming in terms of, that whole sentimentality that is, we're showing support to him because of what he went through, his family went through. Is that
Not
still,
really. No. I mean, I kind of disagree. I think we just read too much into the whole. Yes, he is the most loved man, and I think Pathaan did get a rub off where people feel. But I don't think people go and spend $1,000 because they feel bad for a star, or bad for an actor. They can, they can show their support by going on Twitter and tweeting in support. We are all armchair activists. We don't go and see a movie to support somebody. We see a movie because the man is loved. So yes, there was an outcry. There was a kind of, there was an audience that went out there and said, I want to see the man because he's not been there for a while. He's been down in the dumps, but he has given me so much of joy in the past. So let me go and spend $1,000. But with Jawan and Pathaan, he also brought in a newer audience. He brought in a newer audience who had not seen Shah Rukh like this. I mean, he suddenly, if he had played the romantic hero, there was a possibility that, the young girls or the young boys would have said, oh, uncle is going to play a romantic hero. He's gone and shown you the six packs, and he's gone and done death-defying stunts, and he's changed his entire imaging so that he's no longer the older guy. He's the cool 59-year-old, which is exactly what, like I said, I mean, you can see the example with the Tom Cruise or with the Brad Pitt. I mean, they're all they're all of the same age, but they've redefined it by saying that we are not old yet. We are still cool. So I think he's also redefined what cool can be, and yes, a lot of people did, like I said earlier, came for the fact that Shah Rukh had gone through, but he's brought in a lot of newer audiences also to watch this new Shah Rukh Khan, which the youngsters have never seen. They've only seen the romantic Shah Rukh Khan, but here he is looking cool as cool as hell.
So Dilip, earlier Samar also mentioned, the whole businessman aspect of it. Is that an overriding? I mean, every industry, every profession, you always, of course, you look at the profit aspect of it. But was he also at some level forced to reinvent?
He has also added a whole bunch of new technologies into the filming process, and I'd love Samar to comment on it, but I'll just kick it off by saying that the kind of power that his production house has and the kind of technology that he has invested in is actually future oriented. So playing the superhero and being, in a sense, nativist in the approach to the storytelling process is aided and abetted by the fact that he has technology backing him. That is also part of the segue that he is keen to do. And as Samar said, he has the next generation to take care of or to install, as it were, and they will rely more on this. So he has built a huge foundation on which to leap off in the direction of his choice. So whether it's CGI, whether it's AI, a whole bunch of things that he will do now are going to be milking this thread further, but using more and more technology. And that is what younger audiences who are seeing Shah Rukh, the hero, for the first time, coming to see, because that's what their heroes, their contemporary heroes, are doing.
And that's smart, isn't it? I mean, you get the younger generation along with you.
Yeah, because I mean, the younger generation watches their action on PS5. They watch it on Xbox. So you need technology for that. And I think Shah Rukh was the first one. If you end up seeing Ravan's CGI was much ahead of its time, and he did action sequences at that time. But okay, it didn't work for whatever reason. But today, what he's doing is that he's using technology. He's using this AI, and he has today one of India's best VFX studios. He has invested a hell of a lot of money to get there, and they are top of the line. So they can now make Shah Rukh Khan the actor
Right.
appeal. Yeah, he can fly, he can do whatever the hell he wants, and that will appeal to the younger audience because the younger audience have not seen the old Shah Rukh. I mean, you and I are in love with the Dilwale and the Rahul and the Raj and all of that, and today you and I are feeling a little let down that no, he should do those kind of films. But the younger guys are looking at this guy and saying, "Wow, he's cool, man. I mean, he's cool." So he's
Yeah.
appealing to that
And
audience
that
today.
makes them spend 1,000 rupees.
Exactly.
Did you add the popcorn money? Okay, final question for the both of you, and it's with the bar has just been set so high now by him, different bar set high. Where does this Samar, first I'll come to you and I'll end with Dilip. Where does this leave the rest of Bollywood?
I guess sleepless nights because now he has raised the bar so high that any average film will I think the audiences will reject it because now they have been exposed to what can be done. So now the challenge will be to step up and match up to it. So every time you raise the bar, the rest of the gang has to step up, match up, or be left behind. That is what competition is. And Dilip knows it much better, that if Coke sets a standard worldwide, if you don't match up to that, you die.
Yeah.
That's business. And the audiences are not going to spend their money coming to watch you because they're like, we are used to something else. Don't give this to us. So everybody will have to step up the game. Everybody will have to raise the bar, which is actually very good because then everybody will invest in technology, in better films, in better filmmaking, in newer technology, newer directors, newer kind of storytelling. Everything will be redefined, which is fantastic.
So Dilip, does his success make him actually untouchable in all aspects, politically, whichever way you look at it?
And in the trend that he's setting, gone beyond Bollywood. The way he's looking at the South and integrating that is something to be watched. So whether it's Collywood or Tollywood or whatever you call it, he's actually now beginning to get people who own those spaces to be partner in this space. So the old Bollywood ring fencing is actually vanishing. And that vanished some time ago when those big name films came and busted Bollywood in the way it was conventionally structured. So Shah Rukh is reaching out there. He's making those investments for the future. And I think that is what is going to define and has already set the bar. You are no longer an exclusive club. You're no longer the clan that knows each other and marries into each other. You are now needing to recognize that in this CGI, VFX driven industry, there are other players in India, and he may even reach out overseas in his next move. He is doing things which are redefining the category. That's the fun. Let's watch what happens next.
Yeah, I mean, those barriers are broken, and now we are looking at India as a holistic audience and saying there are no barriers anymore of language or whatever because heroes are universal, technology is universal, and cinema is loved universally.
So interesting times, and thank you both. I'm very stressed. I promised to let you go. I want you to both go now.
Thank you.
Because I know both of you have given me time. So I'm going to quickly say thank you very much. And it was lovely to speak to the two of you.
Thanks, Jyotsna. Thank you, Samar. Thank you.
Dilip.